What is going on, everybody? Back at it again with another YouTube video. If you haven't already, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. We are almost at 500 subscribers. We are under 30, almost at 25 away from, half a thousand, which is dope. When I started this, I never would have thought that I would still be doing it because I have the tendency to start things and not really finish them. But, with YouTube and with just talking Philly sports, I have made some great friendships. I have been able to talk to a lot of great people in the YouTube community, especially the Philadelphia sports YouTube community. I've made friends with multiple of my subscribers, and even I did my first collaboration stream yesterday with Philly Take with RB. If you haven't already, check that out. The link will be in the description. So basically, this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons about the NBA and the NHL returning to play. I'm going to give my thoughts. I'm going to share my opinions on how I think it could go and why I think that it could be a bad thing if both or either one of the two return to play this season. So, to get things started off, the NBA announced yesterday that they are going to try and return to play July 31st. Again, July 31st is still 2 months away, almost to the date. I'm recording this 5/30/2020. And, it's great to see that we can finally, maybe get excited about some things. But here's where there's pros and there's cons about this. The pros, we won't be bored anymore, and I do understand that. As a diehard Sixers fan and even a sports fan in general, no sports has been really, it's been boring, as we all know. Like, obviously, we just don't know what to do. As a YouTube creator, I try to get out the most content I could possibly get out, but yes, it does get hard to talk about some things that, aren't really going on there's nothing going on. A lot of my quarantine streams and quarantine videos have been about the Eagles. I try to throw in some Sixers, I try to throw in some Flyers, some Phillies here and there, but it's been mainly about the Eagles. We almost hit 10,000 views on my one video about the draft, which is dope, and the channel has done very well since being in quarantine, at almost gaining 400 subscribers since this has started. And no, this is not the stoppage, and this is only the beginning of my channel really taking off, and I really do appreciate you guys a lot for tuning in every day. I made a lot of good friends yesterday through the stream with Philly Take with RB, and I hope to see you guys in my comment section all the time. But to get back onto track with the NBA and the NHL returning, the pros and cons about this, as I just said, it's going to not be as boring if there are sports around. The cons, it's going to feel artificial, and I don't want that. I don't want the NBA season, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs to feel artificial, to feel like it's fake, to feel that there is no fans in the stands, because there's probably not going to be any fans in the stands. And as some of my subscribers have been saying, to some degree, it's going to feel like a summer league game. It's going to feel like a summer league basketball game where, there's not many fans, it's slow paced, and it just looks a little sloppy because you're playing in two hub cities probably for the NHL and possibly only one hub city for the NBA. So you're going to have 30 teams and 31 teams going, or 24 teams in the NHL playoffs, and we don't know what's going to happen. The NBA said that they invited 20 to 22 teams to participate in, the playoffs, I don't even know what they're doing. I really have no idea. I've heard some people say that they're going to just pick back up with the regular season, and then they're going to move into the playoffs, September. I don't agree with that. If you're going to start the season, you got to start it in the playoffs for either one. Like, the NHL is doing it right. They're starting in the playoffs, and I 100% agree with that. I even like what they're doing with the 4 top seeds of the conference for each division, the West and the East, or the conferences, the East and the West. But the NBA just seems a little cluttered. It just seems a little unorganized to me. I'm more in agreement with what the NHL has said to start doing with the 2014 playoffs. They have a playoff formation, there. We know what they're going to do. We know what to expect. With the NBA, I have no idea what to expect. I don't know who's in. I don't know where we're going to be playing these games. I've heard there's going to be groups. There's going to be, seeding throughout the entire playoffs. So the best team in the West could play the worst team in the East, or it's just going to be a combined seeding. And that would be okay, like a March Madness type of tournament. I have heard that. But my thing is, you got to start in the playoffs. That is my biggest thing. And again, I heard from I saw on Instagram a couple days ago that they were going to expand the regular season for mainly Zion and the Pelicans. Now, my thing on that is, really? Zion and the Pelicans. Every team had their chance. Why are you expanding the season for one team in particular when there's teams like the Portland Trail Blazers who are 9th or 10th in the West? Teams like that. I'm pretty sure Charlotte isn't too far out. But we all know what I'm saying. There's some teams that are very close. But why are you just picking out one player and a team that has had their chance? And if they're not in the playoffs, why are you going to make it so that they do make it to the playoffs? That is what I've seen and heard. And, to me, that's ridiculous. To just focus on one player and one team. I understand. I went to the draft last year. Zion Williamson was that guy. He is probably the best player to come out of this year's draft class. But my thing is, you can't make up rules for players. That is what makes the NBA seem so sketchy at times and makes it seem like sports in general are just becoming sketchy. I don't agree with that. I'll put the picture up, on here, and you can see what I'm saying. I find it a little ridiculous that they're really, going as far as to say the NBA and NBA executives want to see Zion Williamson in the playoffs for rating and views. I understand it's a money business, but you can't expand, playoffs for one man. That's like expanding the regular season last season because LeBron didn't make the playoffs with the Lakers. It's just not fair. You can't do that. So basically, with the pros and cons, I kind of, there's really one main con that I have, and it's the artificial feel of sports. Without fans in the stadiums and in the arenas, it's just going to feel odd. It's going to feel weird. And I don't want to have that. I don't want to see Joel Embiid poster, I don't even know, JaVale McGee in the NBA Finals, if that's the case, and it's just being dead silent. I don't want to see that. I want fans in the stands, and I don't think it's possible to get fans in those seats for meaningful playoff games. You're going to tell me that the NHL, obviously, I know that the NBA and the NHL don't want to not have, fans in stadiums because, I was talking last night with RB after the stream, and we were just saying, there's a lot of love. There's love for the game with, players have love for the game, but so do sports fans in general. Sometimes, most of the time, players feed off of the fans' encouragement, the fans' rowdiness, especially in Philadelphia. Joel Embiid just, he was commenting on something earlier today, and he said something along the lines of, I miss playing in front of the Philadelphia fans. And, that's been the hardest thing with him since quarantine has started. It hasn't been, I can't play basketball every day. It's, I can't play basketball every day in front of the greatest fans in the world in Philadelphia. That's basically what it's going to come down to. And for me personally, I wouldn't be opposed and I wouldn't be mad that sports are returning because I do miss sports. I'm a sports fanatic and I would love to watch the Sixers and the Flyers in the playoffs because they're both going to make the playoffs. But at the same time, I wouldn't be upset if sports didn't return this year and we just waited until the normal start time of late September, early October for the NHL and late October for the NBA. I really would not be mad or upset. At this point in time, it's just come down to boredom and, it's now summer, but I just don't know. And when I get more news on what the NBA and what the NHL is doing, I'm sure I'll make another video on this because I'm going to be posting every day from here on out through quarantine, no matter what, whether I do a stream. This day, if I have nothing to talk about, I will definitely do more streams, maybe 2-3 times a week. If I really am struggling to talk about some topics, I'll just hop on and we'll just talk Philly sports. I do live stream every Sunday, so tomorrow be sure to come and check that out. But this is pretty much it. I just really wanted to get my point across and the pros and cons and the artificial feel of how, or really the way that I feel about how the NBA and NHL playoffs could have an artificial feel to the game. So with that being said, make sure you guys smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 500 subscribers. We are almost there. Make sure to comment what your thoughts and opinions are about the NHL and the NBA trying to return to play this season in late July, early August for the NHL and the NBA playoffs to start, and even maybe a regular season for the NBA. So again, like, comment, and subscribe, and I am out. Peace.